Hello, this is Kabir Southwick, traditional naturopath, Ayurvedic practitioner, and herbalist in beautiful Ojai, California. This is my next lesson in my series called Self-Care, Not Healthcare. The name of this lesson is Keep Your Bowels Moving No Matter What. People come to me with a wide range of health problems, and no matter what, I always focus first on digestion and elimination. And if I find that a person is not having regular bowel movements, particularly if they're constipated, going more than a day or two without a bowel movement and it's dry, then it doesn't really matter what other health issues they have. We have to have the bowels moving. It's essential for health. And many people have a lot of misunderstandings about what are healthy bowel movements. Maybe they're not able to compare, or they haven't read much on the subject, and maybe it's not an interesting enough subject, but the information is out there that basically we need 2 or 3 bowel movements a day. In fact, it should be equal to the number of meals that we had. So if you had 3 meals yesterday, you want to aim for 3 bowel movements today. Maybe 2 would still be okay. But once you're down to 1 bowel movement a day and you had 3 meals, then you can see that there was some mild constipation and things were not moving through the colon fast enough. So we want to speed up the transit time a little bit and not have the this chyme or fecal matter to remain longer than necessary in the GI tract. If the undigested food passes too quickly, then we're not able to get the nutrients out of it. And this can be very depleting, as diarrhea and dysentery and food poisoning shows us that we become very weak and malnourished if we are having loose stools for an extended period of time. It can be actually very dangerous. On the other hand, constipation creates a type of autotoxicity where the toxins that came with the bile from the liver, which contained the toxins that the liver filtered from the blood, which are now being held in the fiber in our fecal matter in our colon. If these remain there too long, it reabsorbs back into the bloodstream and it reburdens the liver. So we have to get this just right. We want it the GI system to be working properly and to have proper elimination. So a few things we can do to improve our elimination, and mostly this is a Vata problem. Vatas have the most issue with constipation. Almost every Vata struggles with this or has a tendency for it. Kaphas tend to have 1 large bowel movement a day, so they can just add a little home remedy and make a few changes to their lifestyle habits and eating habits, and or take a little triphala each night, and this is just enough to push them over to 2 bowel movements or 3 bowel movements a day for the Kapha type. But the Vata often needs much more because particularly if they've had a long history of constipation, then the colon itself needs to be cleaned before you're going to get healthy bowel movements. So first thing you want to do is fix your eating habits, not be snacking all the time and have a lot of little meals all different times and eating at night. This is very difficult for you to digest the food. You're not going to get the nutrients out of it, and it can lead to constipation. So regular eating habits, complete meals, spaces between the meals, and also for the Vata in particular, adding more juicy fruit to the diet in between meals, having grapes. A great home remedy is getting 5 or 6 prunes, soaking them in water and eating them with a spoon in the afternoon. This can help with bowel movements and something you can do for the rest of your life. Having 2 or 3 apples a day for the Kapha is very effective. Having a bowl of berries or grapes for the Vata or the Pitta in between, say, lunch and dinner can help a lot, because all fruit are laxatives to some degree, and some are have more of a laxative effect than others. Another good home remedy is homemade yogurt, or healthy yogurt with proper living bacteria in it, with say 2 or 3 teaspoons of some ground flax seeds at night. This also is very helpful. People usually have an issue with not enough bulk or fiber in their stool, or they're eating too many things that are dry. If you have dry stools and dry constipation, then obviously you want to stop eating those dried fruit, dried rice crackers, and dried things which are absorbing more water out of your GI tract and creating the dryness. This is typically a Vata problem. So Triphala, which is Triphala, which is 3 fruits in Ayurvedic, and now you can get Triphala in almost every health food store, is not a laxative, but it's a bowel cleanser and a mild laxative, but not in the true sense a laxative that creates a peristaltic action or cramping or irritating to the colon. In fact, it's healing to the intestinal tract, cleanses the intestinal tract, and helps improve elimination. So if you're already having 1 bowel movement a day or 1 or 2 and you just want to improve it and have these bowel movements earlier on in the day so you have a little more energy, feel a little lighter, then Triphala at night is perfect. Just take it in a powder form, put about a teaspoon in a cup of water, in the bottom of a cup, pour in some boiling water, let it sit, and then just drink the water off the top. And even you can have a little bit more in the morning, and this will be just enough to have a nice bowel movement early in the morning before your breakfast, which is the preferred time to have your first bowel movement, early in the morning. And Triphala can be used long term since it's truly not a laxative or a purgative formula. If you're constipated and it's very dry constipation, like in case of Vata, castor oil is very effective oil. You may need 2-3 teaspoons, maybe even up to 4 teaspoons or an ounce if you're very dry, because the body will just absorb the oil initially. But castor oil is a purgative, and most people with 2 or 3, like 2 tablespoons, I should say, not teaspoons, 2 tablespoons will generally have a purge effect quite early in the morning if they take it at night, and that will break up any congestion and then allow you to change your eating habits and maybe add in some more lighter laxatives. Of course, for extreme dryness in the colon, oil enemas are very effective, and for cleansing out the colon, enemas are preferred over colon hydrotherapy, and with a little salt in the enema water to help the body absorb that water, help the tissue to absorb the water. The salt will help do that. It won't wash away as much as of your intestinal flora if you put salt in it. So this is a big advantage over using an enema. And of course, you can use an enema just to relieve yourself or a child from constipation very, very quickly. And obviously, when we get constipation, we feel heavy, our appetite goes down, and many children even get fevers from being constipated for a few days. And as soon as you give them an enema, the fever drops, the energy level comes back up, and the person feels hunger again. And often this is misunderstood as a flu or a cold, when in fact the child was just constipated. So adults, we also have these negative effects of being constipated, but we tend to work through it. Of course, laxative herbs are very effective. I have a colon laxative tea, and this is using the main laxative herb, senna leaf, but of course senna has a cramping effect, and it's a very strong laxative, so you don't want to take it straight. Nobody should be taking senna leaf straight or any of these laxatives straight in a capsule. They should always be mixed with carminative herbs like a coriander, a ginger, a fennel, to take away the cramping effect and make it more comforting to the GI tract. And there's other laxative herbs like the Turkey rhubarb, which is a Chinese herb, not quite as strong as senna, but very nice. And for chronic constipation, buckhorn bark is very good, and that's similar to Carsata sagrada, but not quite as strong. So it's good to find or match the right laxative to your condition. Stronger laxatives, of course, are necessary, and purgatives for those who are very constipated. And then once the bowels start moving, you need to back off on the stronger laxatives and do more mild laxatives and slowly wean yourself right off of these laxative herbs. With the exception of triphala, none of them are recommended for long-term use. So I always recommend get the bowels going no matter what it takes with castor oil or enema. Then use laxative herbs as necessary to just keep things moving, and then work on your eating habits, your diet, add more of these fruits in, do the prunes, do the yogurt, until you can maintain healthy bowel movements without laxative herbs. Very, very important for your health, no matter what your health condition is. Get yourself pooping every day. Thank you very much, and I look forward to your comments and your feedback.